Welcome to Würth Knowing. On today's episode, we're going to dive into strategic sourcing, and I have strategically sourced our resident expert, Brian, here. Brian, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me, Michael.
But I'm going to keep you on your toes and just ask you, when we talk about strategic sourcing, I always hear other terms thrown around like procurement, purchasing, buying, supply chain. Is it all just the same?
No, it's actually a common misnomer. They all can sometimes be used interchangeably incorrectly, but they all have various vastly different meanings.
So I would prefer to sound much smarter next time I talk about it. So what will be your definition of strategic sourcing?
Certainly, strategic sourcing is a reoccurring process whereby we define the what we buy, the who we buy from, why we buy from them, and utilize it as a tool to drive year-over-year supplier improvement.
Well, but Brian, you're not telling me that it's just as simple as matching up what we're buying and like who we're buying it from, and then we're done with strategic sourcing?
No, there's a lot more steps that go into it. And because now you've got just the basic information, but you need to figure out a way to group this information together to make informed strategic decisions. So you need to go through and reclassify each one of the components by supplier type or supplier grouping. So if you buy all your nails from a couple of different suppliers or all of your paint from a couple of different suppliers, that categorization is you need to be identifying that after the part numbers. So that way at the end of the day, you can then break out to say, we spend this amount of money on nails, this amount of money on paint, this amount of money on wood. Here's the sources for nails, here's the sources for paint, and here's the sources for wood. From there, then you can start developing your strategies based upon those categories.
I was just going to say, I'm starting to see where the word strategic comes in before sourcing.
For sure.
Kim, I'm going to kick us off right into, I wanted to say jump into the pool and couldn't get there.
That's okay.
Well, if there's anything that I've learned is if we have a what and we have a who, then what's missing is the why.
Exactly right, Michael. So at this point, we need to determine why we're buying from these suppliers. We have all the basic foundation. We need to put some quantity behind it with data and facts on why do we buy from these people. So at the end of the day, we want to layer in things like our supplier delivery performance, our supplier quality performance, any market-based information that we might have. So for example, is our nail supplier performing very well? Or is our hinge supplier pricing going up or down over time? Is our paint supplier the only people we can buy from? All that will then paint the very strong picture of who we're buying from, what we're buying, and more importantly, why we're buying from there.
It's starting to sound a lot to me, Brian, like I need a strategic sourcer in my life, because from what you just described, I was really thinking of, what am I buying from? What am I buying? And my first example is like streaming services. At this point, I don't think there's anything strategic on my end about it anymore. How would I go about it?
Yeah, certainly. So even within your streaming services, you have to see which ones create value from and which ones do you want to utilize more. And within strategic sourcing and within this process, we work to identify our grow, our maintain, and exit suppliers. So our grow suppliers are suppliers that give good quality, good delivery. We think that we get great competitive pricing, and these are ones we want to award more business to. On the flip side, our exit suppliers are ones that we're just not really seeing a lot of value on. They're not performing very well, and we want to not do business. And the maintains are okay. We want to continue to maintain them. Maybe we consider developing, and over time, maybe they will move into a grow.
So from now on, instead of saying that I'll unsubscribe from something, I'll just say that I have concluded after my strategic sourcing analysis that they are no longer beneficial to me.
Yeah, certainly.
But to bring it back to the professional side, sorry for abusing you for my personal reasons here, but from a professional side, I'm pretty sure that there is more afterwards that you have to do once you've started to develop the strategy and concluded part of this analysis.
Yeah, from there, what we need to do is start documenting what actions that we're going to take. Are we going to develop long-term agreements, do some reverse auctions? We need to find a new supplier. We need to start documenting all the actions that we're going to take to work on year-over-year supplier improvement.
And so one thing I'm thinking about when you say document, I'm pretty sure it's not like in one of those cupboards over there, hidden as an archive. It's digital, right? I got that right?
Yeah, certainly. It's just not in our head. So we want to do what we can do to put pen to paper digitally. So it could be in a myriad of any software or thing that works in your company, whether it's PowerPoint, Excel, Word, or anything that really works. So that way it's a defined record of what it is that who it is we're buying, why we're buying, and now what are we going to do to make supplier improvements.
And now, do you make this kind of like as an isolated exercise, or are there other teams involved?
No, actually, it's something that you definitely want to get cross-functional buy-in when it comes to it. So you want to socialize your strategy with sales, operations, finance to make sure that whatever decisions you're making doesn't adversely affect all the different divisions. At the end of the day, strategic sourcing will make the final decision, but these are your internal customers and these are the people that you want to make sure that you're pleasing as well.
Because you can't execute your strategy without others.
Absolutely correct. So now we actually have to do the work.
And how do we do that?
So we've already identified our grow, maintain, and exit suppliers. So at that point, we want to identify actions we can take to grow with the grow suppliers. Identify either whether it's a long-term a contract or awarding them new business. When it comes to the exit suppliers, let's immediately stop buying new parts from them and identify where we can move those parts to the grow suppliers.
And how do you prioritize? Because I'm guessing that can be like a really big endeavor. So how do you prioritize?
Yeah, certainly. So there are going to be a lot of projects that come out of this process. So what you want to do is rank them based upon ease of implementation and how impactful for the business.
Oh, an impact effort matrix.
Yeah, exactly, basically. So at the end of the day, if something is very easy to do and has a high impact in the business, you want to hit those straight away first. Something, for example, like a contract negotiation with your grow suppliers. It takes effort, but it should have high impact to the business if you define your grow supplier properly. If something is easy to do, but doesn't have a high impact to the business, you still want to do those because at the end of the day, implementations build more and more momentum and shows examples. And then if something is hard to do and doesn't have a lot of impact, you want to wait to do those later down the line and maybe execute those next year.
I kind of feel a little called out because if I'm thinking about it, it's not that difficult for me to review my streaming services. And it might have a high impact on my bank account, to be honest with you, if I exit some of those.
Yeah, some of those you're not using in 6 months, those are definitely be exit suppliers. So now that we've executed the strategic sourcing process, we need to make sure that we did it right because the world is constantly changing and there's things that are going to change. So we want to go back and look at our strategies. Did we execute the projects? Where are we with the status? Make sure that nothing has changed from any of our suppliers. Update some of the data, quality delivery, and making sure that we're still on track for what we said we're going to do.
You said that the world is constantly changing. So the question that I would have then is, if we say, yeah, we did it all right, it's still not a one and done, right?
Yeah, no, certainly, absolutely. Even though that we've done the mid-year refresh, once a year, you need to do a full commodity strategy redo. That includes identifying new items that you might start buying that you need to categorize like we did in the first step. From there, you need to pull all of your spend analysis and spend data and pricing that you did from the first steps. There you need to layer in, again, your quality, your delivery information, then go through and update your grow, maintain, exit suppliers. Did a supplier that you exit, did you really truly exit? Did maybe one of your maintain suppliers bump up to a grow? Or maybe they've really backslid and you need to consider exiting them. And at the end of the day, you want to update all of your projects to make sure that you're still on track and still going through and executing and delivering the rollouts. If you follow this process, when you update your quality and delivery information and cost, you should absolutely see year-over-year improvement in quality and delivery, and your pricing will go down.
So just to make sure that I understood the simple version of it, you're looking at what you're buying, who you're buying it from, why you're buying it, obviously, and then you develop a strategy that you then execute on to basically make sure that you get the right product.
Absolutely correct.
Wow, I got that. So happy. But I'm also proud of my own strategic sourcing skills because that's why we had Brian here today. And Brian, I cannot thank you enough for sharing all of your knowledge.
Thank you, Mike.
I hope you enjoyed this episode and tune in for the next Worth Knowing. Brian, I don't mean to rush off, but I think if I don't cancel some of my streaming services right now, I don't think I'll ever do it. I'll see you right after.
Good luck.